everybody, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while since I've recorded a long form video, but I'm trying to work better on recording myself and my process, so this is kind of me trying to do that again. I've been recording more shorts lately, but those are just easier for me to do, which is why I do them more often. But from coming forward, I'm going to try to do more longer videos. So today we're going to be drawing Sonny Brisko from Nijisanji EN. He is a liver, part of Noctix, if you guys know Noctix. I really like his design, and I drew him back in February 2022 when they first debuted, but honestly that piece I made of him did not do him justice, and I really wanted to redo that drawing. So this time I'm going to make him look much different than my original piece. I'll put the original up on the screen. The newer one, I tried to make him have more of a cooler demeanor. He's not gonna be like my old piece. He had more of a cute looking face. I tried to make him have this more pinkish background and prettier kind of setting. This time I wanted to give him more of a cool, he looks kind of threatening setting, which is what I did with this. So I'm just sketching him out, and I decided to give him a gun because he's Taicho. He in his lore, he is the policeman. He's the head policeman, I think, of VSF, which is the police agency he works for. He overall, compared to how he was when he first debuted, he kind of seemed like a very cute sunshine person, but I realized after watching him longer now, it's been a few months since his debut, and he definitely has more of a he's kind of a yandere, not gonna lie, and he kind of has this more violent behavior than I realized, so I really wanted to give him more of a cooler kind of pose. Overall, I just think he's so intimidating, but he's a Bishonen intimidating person, so I wanted to give him that kind of look. Yeah, the gun. So when I drew the gun, I used a reference. I don't usually draw weapons that often, so this was a little challenging for me. I definitely had to keep referring back to my reference. Yeah, and this sketch actually didn't take me too long to do. I take my time when I'm doing sketching because I really want to map out what I want to, how I want the pose, how the perspective is going to be, because when I get to the coloring stage, I usually use my sketch as my line art. And if I don't map out the proportions from the beginning, it's just gonna take me longer when I get to the rendering stage, which I think is what a lot of people do when they try to do more of a painterly style. If you do line art, it's a little easier just to be a little more messy because eventually you're gonna go over it with cleaner line art. But for me, I don't do that, so I have to really pay attention to the proportions from the beginning. And I guess I could talk a little bit more about Nijisanji EN if you guys aren't familiar. Nijisanji, basically, it's a VTubing company. If you guys are familiar with VTubers, they've kind of blown up a lot since the pandemic, I would say. And yeah, and Nijisanji, they're kind of more of a more well-known VTubing group agency. And yeah, they have an English branch, and Sonny is part of the Noctix branch, which is the second boy group, all boy generation to debut under Nijisanji. Okay, so here I'm kind of just so I start establishing the background colors first, because once I put down the skin tone and the other colors of Sonny's outfit, it's gonna the colors will reflect how it looks when you put the other colors down. So it's important, I think, to establish the background first. And then, yeah, after I establish the background, we just put down the basic colors of the art. This part is pretty self-explanatory. I just pretty much refer back to my reference and like try to make the colors close as possible. But I also try to make sure I got so when I put the colors down, you also have to make sure like I get the lighting correct, like where I'm going to be putting the lights and the shadows. So I want to establish that first before I get to the rendering stage, because once I get to the rendering stage, it's just cleaning up the lines, cleaning up all like the messiness of the sketch. So it's important in my brain to like establish these bigger details of the picture first before I get down to the nitty-gritty parts. Like, my style of coloring is actually influenced by one of my favorite artists on YouTube. Her name is Rin Spirit. Her channel, Rin Spirit Art, I believe. She has really good like advice, I would say, and like she really shows her process well. My process is very similar to hers because for the longest time I didn't really do digital art. Her process videos really helped me understand how digital art works, and it was very simple to follow, which is how I got better at digital because of her. And I really enjoy like coloring digitally now, because I think coloring digitally you can really explore with different colors and different like shades, like warm versus cool. And I think it's really nice that even if you make a mistake, you can always redo it again. Like with traditional art, I found it harder to experiment with like different colors and different patterns I want to try with. So I think digital gave me a really easier time doing that. Okay, so here I'm like coloring the outfit, but I actually ended up changing it in the end. So like in the beginning when drawing this picture of Sonny, I didn't know if I wanted to, because I was looking at his reference sheet and I didn't know if I wanted to make his he has like this inner jacket part, and then he has like a vest, his VSF vest. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to cover that part up or I wanted to leave it open like his original design is. And in the beginning, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to just leave it covered. So I wouldn't draw his VSF vest, and I would just have the jacket more closed, like in his reference sheet. But in the end, I completely changed that. So this is kind of just me like coloring, but at the same time it's kind of meaningless because I actually end up changing it in the end. Apologies to people who was like, wait, I wanted to see the whole process. I'm so sorry. I'm still learning how to record myself better, so please be patient with me. Overall, I think what was the most fun about doing this was actually trying to make cooler kind of like a demeanor for Sonny. I think because I'm so used to seeing him like in a cuter setting. I think it was nice. Actually, I would say I draw guys more in a cuter setting, so it was nice to draw setting more like a cooler setting and kind of more not as cutesy, because it was fun, I would say. And this gun part, what I did with the gun, at first it was a little bit challenging because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the lighting for the gun, because the gun is made out of metal, and like metal reflects differently in lighting. So it was a little bit challenging to get it to differentiate it from the clothes, but I think I was able to do it in the end after the rendering. Well, first I am changing my sketch color because I want the lines, like the sketch lines, look very harsh looking. So I don't really like the dark looking lines, so I changed the lines to look a little bit more softer looking and not as dark. So when I render, I can use those colors, the softer colors, to make the rendering process a little bit easier, and I don't have to clean up as much. Okay, so now I'm rendering, and when I render, I usually merge everything down. So I usually take my sketch layer and I merge it down with my base color layer, and it's just easier to render everything all together rather than separately, because I found when I rendered things separately, it was just too confusing to manage all the layers, which is why I just do everything on one layer. Like, the rendering process honestly is the most time consuming, which is why I didn't really include too much of me rendering. Also, it can kind of get a little boring, I would say, when you're watching me render, so I didn't really include too much footage of this. But I just included some parts. You can see me like rendering Sonny's eyes and the hair. I kept obsessing with his hair because Sonny's hair is a little difficult for me to draw. I'm not the best with like floofy looking hair, but I tried my best, and I think actually it turned out better than I expected, because I know before in the old piece I did not know how to draw his hair at all. It looked kind of very awkward looking, so I think I did a good job improving on his hair. And I really tried to make a contrast between the dark parts of his hair and the light parts. Let's see if I can talk about something else. Oh yeah, so recently Nijisanji had their Koshien event. So it's basically Nijisanji holds like this baseball event, and they have, so the JP members of Nijisanji, they chose certain JP members, and they are like the coaches for the Nijisanji Koshien event. And yesterday was the first match. It was the A side. The A side was Kagami Shacho from Nijisanji BJP. I can't remember the other people. Leos from Eden Gumi, and I can't remember all their names, but basically what they do is they pick certain members from Nijisanji to be on their team, and some of the Nijisanji EN members were able to be on the main teams, and basically they train up their stats as high as they possibly can go, and then they have a face-off between the other teams, and basically they put all of them on, like, the characters are named after the Nijisanji livers, and they're put on like autopilot, so they don't actually control them playing baseball. They actually just let it do it on its own, and we get to see if they train them enough and they like basically can win against the other team. It was pretty intense, honestly. Even though they're not actually controlling the characters, it was really fun to watch. I really recommend it if you guys really like Nijisanji. It was really fun watching the Koshien, and EN actually did a like watch along. So even if you didn't understand Japanese, EN was the EN members who speak Japanese well, they kind of translated as we were watching, and it was really fun. I do understand Japanese, but it was really fun watching Ian's reactions towards the baseball plays, and it was really fun. It's funny because most of them said, "Oh, I don't even know the baseball rules," but I ended up watching it anyway. Everybody, thank you for listening or getting this far into the video. I really appreciate if you kept watching this far. Just wanted to show you the final piece and how it's pretty much done now. And as you can see, I added a lot of new things, sort of. Well, I definitely rendered a lot of the outfit, and then I kind of made the colors a little bit more like consistent, because before they were very dull looking to me, so I wanted to make the colors more saturated. And I also added back these triangle like glass looking pieces I made in the beginning of the well, actually I don't think they got into the final cut of the video, but I made these glass pieces earlier in the video, but I decided to take it out, and because I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep them in, but I think it actually adds a lot of dynamic to the composition of the piece, so I decided to keep them in. And I also added some halftones, if you can see this in the background. I thought it would make it look nice, kind of like a graffiti look I was going for. So that's what I did, and yeah, that's about it. And I just made the lighting better and the shadows. You can't really tell because the camera makes it all brighter than it actually appears to be in real life, but yeah, it definitely has more of a contrast, I would say. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed me draw Sonny. I think this looks so much better than his old one. So the old one, here I'll show you the old version of Sonny. Oh god, I hate looking at this. Yeah, I definitely changed it a lot compared to the new one. He's like, I got this like cherry blossom kind of background now, so I wanted to draw him more in a cool setting rather than a pretty setting. Also, I really hate how I did the anatomy and the eyes, like his eyes, like what the heck is this? Is too big. I think I improved composition wise. Like this is like so boring. He's so stagnant. Nothing really pops out to me in this picture, I would say. And I think, yeah, like seeing the difference now in this picture, it's totally more interesting, and I think more pleasing to my eye. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching my process, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully I can make another video of this, like not just redrawing fan art, but like drawing in general. Alright, catch you guys later. Bye.